today. This is a quick hit video on changing colors and creating multiple views. So first thing is if you don't like the colors on your parts, there are some easy ways to change them. For example, if we wanted to change the pin to yellow, we could take the wedge screw, right mouse click on it, change the appearance, and what we can do is I've chosen glossy. There is a whole list of different paints and plastics and so forth, so I've chose glossy, and we can change it to the yellow color. And you can actually just drag and drop the yellow on it, and that makes it so much easier. So the idea is that you can pick and choose the colors that you would like for each of your components. The nice thing is that if you do that as part of the design side and save it, the colors will flow through to the other feature assembly and drawings. We'll hit the save button. It'll say user saved. I like to put a little description like color in there, so we change the color. And then from here, you can then go and create an animation. And this allows you to create the exploded view. This is the assembled view. So if we go to animation, we're able to create an exploded view. Now I've already exploded this, but we'll talk about how we can edit or work with this explosion. Like for example, right now, we've got the wedge screw working at the same time as the wedge block moving. So if we were to play the animation, you can see both parts move at the same time. If we go to the timeline, I can slide the wedge screw to after the wedge block. Slide the movement back, and as we slide the movement along the line, I'm just left mouse clicking, holding and sliding this. You can see that the wedge block moves out and then the wedge screw moves in. I still don't like the way the movement of the wedge screw is. So let's do this. Let's delete that. So we can edit the action or delete it. We'll just delete that wedge screw motion. Alright, so now let's add a new transformation to the wedge screw. So to do that, we'll just pick transform component. The component's already been selected, in this case the wedge screw, and I'm going to move it straight up, and that's all I'm going to do is just take and drag this arrow and I'll move it straight up. So that's the first movement. So that can't happen until after the wedge block moves, so we'll slide that over. And then we'll make one more move, transform the movement of the screw. Select the screw, and we'll slide it back here. We'll grab the arrow, slide it back, and again I'm just visually doing this. I'm not changing anything associated with it. We'll go from there. So now we'll look at what this animation does. We'll hit the play button and see what happens. So this was a really short animation, so it's just going to jump that 7 inches. We can drag these out to make them a longer timeline. So notice that you can just grab the edge and drag it out if you need to. Let's play it and see what happens. The wedge block moves, then it moves up and then back, which is exactly what we're shooting for. So we'll hit the save button and save our animation, and we'll move to the third. So again, user note, we'll change that since we updated the wedge screw. And the third thing that we're going to focus on is the drawing sheets. So creating drawing sheets is not a difficult process. It's just a process that you need to do. Okay. And so ultimately what we want to do is, it says telling us that changes have been made. Do you want to update them? in the drawing bar. And we can update the drawing bar, but I'm also just going to delete this particular view, and then we'll work on a new animation view. So we'll pick base, and we can create a new view, but the new view is going to be based on the storyboard, which is the animation. So we'll pick the animation. That's the advantage of using the new view. We'll place the new view here, and we'll choose OK. Now we can shade this view by editing it. We can also create a table. If we pick table, it'll create a table based on that, and we can put the table down here at the bottom. It'll then number the components associated with that particular option. If we want to shade this, we right mouse click and edit the view. Now with the edit view, we can choose the shading option with either hidden lines or shading option without hidden lines. So we'll choose it without hidden lines. Now you might have noticed that we had a yellow one first, but if we don't hit the save button, okay, so we hit here, got to save it, and each of these options, which we did, and then the third option, since I already had this drawing open, it's using the old version associated with it, and I have not saved this. So again, you can do that with each of these. Now I also created individual views of the components, and it's not hard to do. We'll do that with the wedge block. Okay, so we'll do a quick add. We'll create a new base view, and this one's going to be of the model. We're just going to go ahead and create it as a model view, and we'll choose OK. So it's just the base model view, but we only need the wedge itself, or the wedge block. So I'm going to go ahead and turn off the wedge screw and the base. Now that's just the wedge block, and we can project just that wedge block to the top view, right side, in isometric view. And again, in the isometric view, we can edit this view, shade it, choose close. We want to update the hidden lines. We can do that too. So we can do edit view. We can update so the hidden lines show, which is block number 2. So now all the hidden lines are shown in the drawing sheet. And then you can add your own dimensions through the dimension tool here. Once you're finished with all your different views, of course, save your work and reference sample drawing. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and update it. And all that we'll do now is update all the features. And notice that the color has changed, and that was the update up here in the very top row. So once you're done, don't forget to save your work. So you hit the save button. It'll save it as the drawing sheet. And then finally at the end, we want to export the PDF. So we want to export this, and the key thing to remember is that we want to export all the sheets, and then you can open the PDF afterward. Okay, so we want to make sure that we want to update everything. It says one or more sheets is out of date. There it is, it just updated. So all I did was open up all the sheets, export all sheets PDF, and it's going to create a new PDF file. That is what you will submit. So then the PDF is created, and then you have all your sheets in that PDF. And that's it. That's how you can create a multi-sheet environment quickly.